everybody. Today, my daughter's been wanting me to make her some jewelry, so I will be doing that today. We're going to start off with a very simple earrings, and then move to it. We're going to use all different materials, different tools, and I will post those all in the description as well. This is a looper. It's a 2.25 one-step looper. It makes your jump rings and stuff really easily. Do not use these with memory wire though, because it will ruin them. Memory wire you would have to use something like this for. We will be using memory wire for the second pair of earrings, but for this first pair, it's just your basic stuff. These are to smash your different things, like when you, I'll show you later, but it also smooths out your wire. These are flush cutters, and these are, you definitely need a pair of these if you're wanting to make jewelry. And then you need a couple pair of needle-nosed or flat pliers. Later we'll be using these because we are going to do some wire wrapping. And for the memory wire, this is what you would cut it with. Don't cut it with your flush cutters. There's a special tool just for memory wire that you would use. So with that being said, let's start out with this simple pair of earrings. That's going to help to open my jump rings. I have my wires, jump ring for each pair, a loop pin for each earring, a bead. I believe that's a 8mm. Now most of my stuff I have gotten off of Amazon. A few things I've gotten off of Temu, like these charms. Her cat is a calico, so she wanted some calico earrings. So that's what the first thing we're going to do today. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put these beads on these rings. And then if you watch, I'm going to use the this here looper. I'm going to try to use this here looper. And you just stick it in there, and it makes your loop for you. So easy. And then you just take it off. Of course, you will have to close that up a little better, and we'll do that in the next step. So, just going to use our looper. And this makes excellent jump rings. So if you want to make your own jump rings, this is a great way to do it. And then you know that your wire is going to match whatever you're making. Just put that in there, squish it, and there we go. So now, I want to put this on the, okay, that's not open enough. So, we're going to open this bottom jump ring, or bottom loop, I should say. And that's too small to use that one. So, we're just going to use our pliers. Put your pliers on one side of the loop, and your second set of pliers on the other side of the loop, and you just twist like that, and that opens that loop up for you. So then we're able to get this on. And then you take these, and you just twist your loop back. And if it doesn't close right, you're going to lose your charm. So you want to make sure that you get that closed good. and you just go back and forth until you feel it rubbing against the other part, the main part of it. Just keep going back and forth till you get that. There we go. So we have our charm on there now. And now we just need to get our loop on our jump ring. And you don't ever want to open your loop like that, because that bends it out of shape and you'll never get it right again. So we're just going to put our jump ring on there. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta close that up. You're better off to open the jump ring. So let's do that. Because it's a little larger, it's a little easier to work with. So I take my jump ring, and I just twist it. And then I can put my earring on there, and my dangly part. She's going to be so glad I got these done today. I've been trying to get this done for several days, but I was not feeling so well. So there is our first kitty cat earring. And I think she's going to love it. So I'm going to real quick put this other one together. And then we'll move on to the second pair of earrings. Now the memory wire that we're going to be using, that is going to be for some pendants that we're going to be wire wrapping. My daughter and her boyfriend won some stones and something where you dig them out or whatever. And so they've been wanting me to get those made. So I will do that for them. It's funny because he got the pink one and she got a black one. This one is so little. But I'm just going to turn it back and forth until I get it closed. It got a little wonky there, so I'm just going to straighten that up. And you don't want to smash it like this either. You want to turn it back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So now we'll get our jump ring, get that opened up. Put our earring stuff on there. And close that back up. So now we have a pair of earrings. And they're identical. So there those are. The next pair of earrings, she wanted these 3 butterflies on each. You know, this is the way she wanted them. These are the butterflies she chose. These are the order she wants them in. And we're going to use memory wire for these. Now, memory wire comes like this. And it's measured in loops. And it's very thin, but it's very strong. And it, like I said, it will destroy your tools if you use your regular tools with the memory wire. Now I got this set, and it came with 6 different colors of memory wire. I love this one. Absolutely love it. Most of my jewelry that I make is silver or rose gold. But with these being gold, I'm going to use gold on hers. And again, I will put the links for everything down below. Okay, now the way I want to do these earrings is I want to tier them. So, let me get my correct cutters. Now, normally if I were going to make something, I would just cut off a whole loop. But this is going to be a little bit different because I don't need a whole big loop. I'm going to cut a piece there. And then I'm going to use this same thing, and I'm going to measure, because you want to get them symmetrical. So these are for the short part of the earring. And then I'm going to use one to measure, but I'm going to make it longer. And you can do this as long or short as you want. I don't measure, so I just kind of go with what I think will work. So I'm going to go maybe a ½ inch longer. So we've got one short one for this earring, one short one for this earring. I put them on tape so I wouldn't get them out of order. And then I'm going to cut the other medium one. Let's use that to measure. And for these particular butterflies, I think ½ inch between is going to work out really nice. Okay, so then I want to make this one a little bit longer, another ½ inch longer. Find the end of it. They do kind of coil on you. Okay. So I got that lined up. And I'm just going to snip it off about ½ inch longer. So I got the long one for that. Or no, that's the medium for this one. Okay. Still not 100% today, so bear with me. I don't know if I had a stomach bug or what it was, but every time I put one bite of food in my stomach, I was in so much pain. But I am feeling better. I'm just not 100% yet. So, but I will get there. Okay, so we got our pieces cut. And basically now all we got to do is we got to make little loops on each end. And to do that, I'm going to use these. Actually, I think I want to use these. So let's get the little one first. And you don't want to be able to feel it at the top. And we're going to bend this backwards. We're going to turn it until it meets. Okay? And then I'm just going to take this and turn that part back. Well, not the best loop I've ever done, for sure. So you can always use your other tools. I'm going to bend that back so that when my loop is done, once I get it finished, it will be like sitting centered on the top. Do just a little bit more. Okay. So now I want to put another loop at the bottom, but I'm going to put this top butterfly on there like that. I'm going to make my little loop. Well, let me bend this back first. I just want to bend it up. Okay. Then I can put use my little tool here and get that. My goodness. Not wanting to stay bent back. Like I said, memory wire is very strong. And it doesn't always do exactly what you want it to do. But it's great because you can make thin little things, and it's gonna hold its shape. Why is this not working for me today? And then like that. Okay. Open that back up. Put this down there. And then close that up. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Got my finger. Okay. I'm going to cut the little tail off that's over here. If I can. It's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to back it up just a little bit and turn it so that it meets that wire and isn't sticking out the back of the wire. Okay, not my best loop. Hopefully the rest will go smoother. So then we're going to take, you kind of want to do them in tandem so that they're symmetrical. So you do one part on one and then do it again on the other. I'm going to use this little side. A little earring in there real quick. My little butterfly, I should say. And it keeps sticking to me. With that end, put a loop. This end. It's best to turn with your wrist while holding this part. Hold the shape better. I think that's better. Loop that end. Put a loop this in. And it's best to turn with your wrist while holding this part. Okay, guys, I lost my audio, so I'm just going to kind of pop in and tell you what's going on at any given time, um, because obviously I can't make these again. So right now I'm just getting out some earring hooks, and I'll also be getting out some jump rings so that we can get these earrings put together. And I'll put the largest section of memory wire on first, then the medium, and then the small. And so that's how that works. All right, guys, here's the finished second pair of earrings, and I think they're cute. I hope my daughter likes them. And now we're going to move on to making the wire wrapped pendants. We're going to be using 18 gauge uh, square, dead soft copper wire. That'll be our main wire. And then we'll be using 24 or 26 gauge half round copper wire to wrap everything together. So the main wire, we're going to cut 10 inches, 4 10-inch pieces of the square wire. And then we're going to cut, well, we're just going to use the roll. We're not going to cut off the roll of the round wire at this time, or the half round wire. We'll do that as we go along, but we're going to try to hold these 4 pieces together with that half round wire right in the center, just enough to give us a base for our piece. And we want to keep those square wires laying flat and side by side. We don't want them to bunch up or overlap or anything. We want to keep them as flat as we can as we wrap this wire. I'll be back in a moment. Just popping back in real quick. I wanted to add that you use your soft pliers with a plastic on them, on the heads of the pliers. You use those to straighten and smooth out your wire. So you want to do that as you bring it off the roll, and it makes measuring it a lot easier. Make sure to use your flush cutters when you cut your wire. The flat side will give you a much smoother, cleaner cut than the concave side. So make sure that you use the back side of those cutters on any end that you're going to use to make any kind of jewelry at all. That way it won't snag or scratch as bad when it, encounters skin or fabric. At this point, I know I'm going to cut the ends off later as we finish up our pendant, so I'm not worried about which side of the flush cutters I use right now. But we will be using the flat side when we cut our final pieces off. Okay, at this point, I've got my wires all straightened out and smoothed out, and laid side by side on each other. Um, so now what I need to do is I need to find that center, and that is where we're going to use the half round wire to wrap those 4 pieces together. Again, keeping them side by side and flat. We're not going to let them overlap, and that can be difficult. So leave yourself a tail on the end that you start on. Leave yourself a tail on that half round wire, and that'll give you something to hold on to as you wrap the other side. And then don't tighten anything down yet. We'll do that later, because once you tighten it down, it makes it a lot harder to move. So a lot of times you can get off center while you're wrapping your wire around. So wait to clamp anything down until we've got it all wrapped, and then we go back and we measure again and make sure we're still in the middle. If we're not, we can move it, and as you're wrapping, you want to wrap and push it together so that you have a nice tight wrap, a nice coil around your 4 square wires. Okay, now I'm just checking to make sure that I have the base that we just wrapped large enough to hold the bottom of that stone that we're going to put in it. And then we're going to wrap all 4 wires on each side up to the top and shape it loosely to the stone. When you're cutting off or when you're wrapping, you want to make sure that both ends of that half round wire meet or come to the middle of the inside of where that stone is going to rest. So that hides those wire ends underneath the stone. And you cut them off with the flush cutters. And now we can clamp everything down, get it tight, because we've measured it again to make sure we're in the middle. And we're ready to start shaping our wire around the stone. Now, if you have gaps in your loops that you're wrapping around, you just take a tool and push, or your fingernails, and push those in those gaps closed. Push them together, and then just make sure everything's clamped really good. Right now, I'm just checking to trying to wrap it a little bit around the stone, just to kind of get the basic shape of the stone. Make sure you look at all sides of your stone so that you can decide what side of the stone you want on the front. I usually put the flat side of an irregular shaped stone like this on the back, unless it's more attractive than the other side. Then of course I'm going to put the most attractive side on the front, and then you shape those wires, and it's a constant finagling of trying to make sure everything's straight and everything's laying just right. So you're going to get really good at modifying. Just keep working with that wire until you get it all four on each side wrapped around that stone and centered at the top. And then you're going to take your tool and you're going to make that stone or those wires point straight up. And then you want to take your half round wire and start wrapping it around there, making sure that you leave yourself a tail, because you're going to need to have something to hold on to. And also, that tail you're eventually going to cut short and tuck up under everything that you've bound together, so you can hide those and get those out of the way. once I get all those wires, the 4 from each side, bent around the stone, and I'm going to bend them straight up so that they meet in the middle at the top of the stone. And then I'm going to loosely wrap some half-round wire around that just to hold on to those, and then do any more adjusting that we might need to do before we continue with the next step. Okay, so now it's time to lock in our stone on the back. And the way we do that is we take one of our needle nose pliers, and we just take the very last square wire on each side, and we just kind of twist it onto the back of that stone. Put like a dent in it, I guess you'd say. And then make sure that it's all flat and level. And then we'll flip it over, and we'll move just the first 2 on each side, evenly spaced, just a little forward. And then that 3rd wire towards the back will be just holding the sides together. Okay, so we just keep playing with it and tweaking it until we get everything lined up and fitting around the stone the way we want it to. And then we will take the half round wire and wrap it around all all 8 pieces that come up at the top. We're going to wrap that several times, and then we're going to take the front 2, one from each side, and pull them forward and start wrapping just those 2 using that same piece of half round wire. And that is what we are going to form our bail with. So usually 1 inch to 1.5 inches for a bail is what you want, so that the chain can slide easily through that bail. And then you'll see I will, once I get it to the length that I want it, then I'm going to take that those 2 pieces. Well, I'm going to take the remaining pieces in back, and I'm going to move them to the sides. So like everything on the right side is going to go to the right, everything on the left side is going to go to the left, so that we can bend that bail back and attach it down in the back using that same piece of half round wire. And we'll wrap that really, really good. had cut my half round wire, and I cut it too short, so I'm just taking another piece and making sure that bail is secure, and just wrapping it all around that bottom part of the bail. Okay, so we just keep playing with it and tweaking it until we get everything lined up and fitting around the stone the way we want it to. And then we will take the half round wire and wrap it around all all 8 pieces that come up at the top. We're going to wrap that several times, and then we're going to take the front 2, one from each side, and pull them forward and start wrapping just those 2 using that same piece of half round wire. And that is what we are going to form our bail with. So usually 1 inch to 1.5 inches for a bail is what you want, so that the chain can slide easily through that bail. And then you'll see once I get it to the length that I want it, then I'm going to take that those 2 pieces. Well, I'm going to take the remaining pieces in back, and I'm going to move them to the sides. So like everything on the right side is going to go to the right, everything on the left side is going to go to the left, so that we can bend that bail back and attach it down in the back using that same piece of half round wire. And we'll wrap that really, really good. round wire, and I cut it too short, so I'm just taking another piece and making sure that bail is secure, and just wrapping it all around that bottom part of the bail. So once you have your design set, if you have like the little squiggles that I made on there, the circles, you're going to want to tie those down with the half round wire so that they don't come up. So basically you just use your half round wire like thread and just kind of wrap around the base wire on the edge and that design. Just one little section, 4 or 5 times around is plenty, and it will be tight because we've been all along tightening it up and pulling here and pulling there, so it will be tight and it will be a little bit difficult, but you can still move things around a little bit, and then just retighten everything once you get that design pinned down. Then you just snip off that wire close to the base wires and tuck it in. And then that completes your pendant. You just put it on whatever chain you would like to put it on, or cord, or whatever. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's kind of a long one, and I've kind of got out of frame a couple times, but I hope I inspired you to make some jewelry of your own. Thanks again for coming to Crafting in My Jammies. My name is Susan, and I'll see you on the next one. And here's the pendant. I think it turned out beautifully, and the earrings as well. So again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back and spend time with me again. Have a wonderful day. Bye.